Hey kids, it's Dad. And I bet you're all asking the same f***ing question. Where the hell have you been for the last 6 months? Well, short answer, I got mad at Dead by Daylight, and I had to go get some smokes. And then I played a bunch of Elden Ring, and then I decided I was going to remodel my basement, which is why you see me sitting up here in the living room, but that's not the point. The point is that I am back to streaming, I am back to playing Dead by Daylight, and holy hell has there been a big upset in the Dead by Daylight world today. Because the perk reworks just got announced, and the entire meta is probably going to get shaken up from this. So we're going to get granular on this, and we're going to figure out what is going to change, and I'm going to offer my insights and my thoughts just based off of my gameplay experience. So first off, they are overhauling the progression system to unlock everything. They're making it so, in the current system, you have to get a level 40 to unlock the teachable perks for a character, and they're doing away with that. They're claiming that the new system is going to cut down on grind by roughly 75%. The teachable rarity is no more. Now perks are tied directly to prestiging. Prestiging a character for the first time will instantly unlock tier 1 versions of their unique perks for all other killers or survivors, making them immediately available for use without ever opening the blood web. Interesting. Okay, so that completely changed, because when I was first reading that, I thought they were saying that that would just basically be the same thing as unlocking the teachable, but no, it just automatically throws that shit into your other character's perk boxes. Okay, interesting. Prestiging a character for second and third time will unlock tier 2 and 3 versions of their unique perks. Alternatively, higher tier versions of their perks will appear randomly in the blood webs once the first tier has been unlocked. So you can still use the blood web for progression. And they use Trapper as an example because for some reason they're still trying to prop up Trapper as like the face of the company. No more resets, so they're making it so that when you prestige, you don't lose all of your perks and add-ons, which is relevant to me because I'm one of those people who refuse to prestige anyone simply because I don't want to lose all my shit, and the grind in this game is relentless, but it seems like they're doing a few things to try to mitigate that. They've expanded prestige out, so now there's no, you don't just cap at prestige 3. Apparently you're going to go all the way up to 9 now. So making it to level 3 just means you have all your perks open. 4, 5, and 6 get the bloody prestige cosmetics, but if you already have them, you get to keep them. 7, 8, and 9 will get you one of that character's unique perks as a charm, which is kind of cool. Shrine of Secrets, let's see. Unlike before, where the Shrine of Secrets would offer teachable perks that then needed to be found in the blood webs, the Shrine will now allow you to purchase perks directly. Purchasing a perk through the Shrine of Secrets will make a tier 1 version of it immediately available on all killers or survivors, much like Prestige. Subsequent tiers of that perk will also begin appearing in blood webs. It's another thing that they're doing for grind reduction. They're transitioning to the new system. What are they saying here? Hundreds of thousands of hours playing Dead by Daylight over the years. We can make sure that everybody is rewarded fairly. When the system releases, we'll be automatically awarding existing players an appropriate number of prestige levels based on how many perk tiers they've unlocked. If you've left your characters at level 50 focusing on unlocking perks, your work will not be for nothing. It is important to note that you will not lose anything when the system is updated. You will keep all of your perks and bloody prestige cosmetics you've already unlocked. Those who reach prestige level 3 before the update will receive a special prestige icon to recognize their achievements. We'll be hosting a live stream to show the updated system in action and answer questions you may have ahead of the PTB. Matchmaking incentives. They've been talking about matchmaking incentives for a few months now, so they're basically making it so if you're low on killers, you get bonus blood points for playing killer. If you're low on survivors, you get bonus blood points for playing survivor. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. And they're going to basically have that displayed next to that specific role in the start menu, which I like. I think that's good UI. Gameplay updates. This is all about, they're talking about the perk meta. A handful of perks have dominant usage rate, especially in higher skill matches. Naturally, the gameplay can feel stale when you see the same perks again and again. We've all been there. We've seen this time and time again. Every killer runs the same slowdown perks. Every survivor runs the same second chance perks. It's frustrating. It's part of why I walked away from this game for so long, but it looks like they're finally starting to do something about it, but invariably somebody's going to complain. And who knows, I might have some complaints once we start getting down in here to this. Generator speeds are making it so generators take 90 seconds to complete instead of 80 seconds. I'm fine with that. You bring a toolbox. I don't fucking know what to tell you. Kicking a generator will now instantly remove 2.5% of the maximum progress, not the accrued progress. maximum progress. It makes kicking generators more meaningful, even if a survivor stops it from regressing shortly after. Additionally, survivors must now decide whether they should tap a generator to prevent regression, as this allows a killer to kick it again and knock off even more progress. With these two changes, we hope to reduce reliance on passive slowdown mechanics and promote increased interaction between killers and survivors. And increased interaction between killers and survivors, chases. I know a lot of people, that's why they play the game. That's the exciting part. Otherwise, it's watch the bar fill up simulator. General killer improvements. The average kill rates, how many survivors on each trial are killed, are a little lower than we'd like, a sentiment echoed by many community members. Cue very angry people who only play Survivor in the comments. To ensure the killer feels like an unstoppable force to be feared, we're making slight improvements to many aspects of killer gameplay. We've reduced the time it takes to break walls and pallets by 10%. It's now 2.34 seconds, previously 2.6. Generators can be kicked 10% faster than before. While these changes may seem small, a fraction of a second can be the difference between hitting a survivor and them reaching a pallet, or fucking deadhearting. Now we've reduced the cooldown for successful basic attacks by 10%. That's kind of cool. Reduced duration of survivor speed boost upon being hit by 10%. It's now 1.8 seconds. It was 2. Moving forward, survivors will gain slightly less distance upon being hit, making it more difficult for them to run long distances to a safe area. I haven't encountered too much with that. Mixed feelings on that, but let's move on. Finally, we have tweaked Bloodlust to increase in power quicker than before, which is completely counter to what a lot of Dead by Daylight Twitter says, where they just want Bloodlust removed completely, but all that tells me is that you kept them in chase for so long that they got Bloodlust, and you didn't lose them. As the first tier Bloodlust has not changed, it will not be more prevalent in the average chase. They're basically just making it so it takes the same time to get to your first tier, but they reduced how long it takes to level up to second and third. Camping and tunneling. This is the hot button topic for both sides. On the survivor side, there are clear preferences for perks that grant second chances. Borrowed Time, Decisive Strike, Deadheart. That's like 3/4 of a fucking kit right there. Just, like, what's your fourth perk? Is it Circle of Healing? Is it, Iron Will? And perks of that nature help a survivor avoid certain death, leading to an extreme usage rate. A benefit of these second chance perks is how they may help prevent unfun situations, namely being camped or tunneled out of the game, repeatedly being targeted after being unhooked. In order to incentivize meaningful change to the meta, it was clear that we needed to address these controversial tactics. Second chance perks should be nice to have, not essential for ensuring enjoyable gameplay. So, what they're saying here, and they've teased this in a video that I did a spit take on, every survivor is going to get 5-second endurance. Everybody's going to get borrowed time for 5 seconds after they get unhooked. The only thing that will make that go away is if you do what they're now calling a conspicuous action. So all the shit that would make borrowed time deactivate prior, they're calling a conspicuous action as a blanket term. So that's repairing a generator, healing yourself or others, cleansing or blessing a totem, sabotaging a hook, unhooking other people, or opening an exit gate. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Do I think that it breaks immersion a little bit? Yeah, kind of. But I don't think anybody's going to be running away after taking a meat hook through the chest anyways, so immersion's out the fucking window with this game. Anyways, meta perk changes, they got charts here. Killer top perks are Barbecue, Ruin, Pop, Corrupt, Tinkerer, Noed, and Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance. For survivors, it's Deadheart, Borrowed Time, DS, Iron Will, Self-Care, and Spine Chill. I was surprised to see Spine Chill in there, and the devs were surprised to see Self-Care in there. Here's some charts, here's some data. Let's get down to the killer meta perk changes. Killer meta perk, the first one is Barbecue. We all know what Barbecue does. You hook a survivor, auras of survivors more than 50 meters away. You get to see them for a few seconds, and it gets a blood point bonus. What they're doing is they are getting rid of the blood point bonus. That's it. Just because they've reduced the grind so much for perks, there's not really a point to keep that on there, so it's just going to be the aura reading, which is fine, because it's a perfectly fine aura reading perk, and I think they're trying to get killers to start using aura reading perks a bit more. Ruin. Ruin, the regression speed is being dropped down, so now it's no longer a 200% regression, it's an 100% regression now. And the other part of this is that after a survivor is killed, Ruin is automatically going to deactivate. So there's not going to be a non-stop grind of plowing through generator after generator, having to commit, having to just really fucking stay on there, have somebody run interference with the killer so you can actually complete generators, or go look for the fucking, not the boon, the totem. So that's out the window now. Ruin got nerfed pretty damn hard. Pop gives killer a controlled way to remove significant progress from a generator of their choosing. Given that kicking a generator now removes 2.5% of its progress by default, we decided to tone down some numbers to compensate. This perk will now remove 20% of the generator's current, not total, progress. So that means that it's going to be more effective against generators that are almost done, but ones that have a little bit of progress, it's not going to do a whole lot. Corrupt. They made it so that this is going to deactivate once a survivor enters the dying state. So you still have that early game pressure, but once you actually have somebody down, it doesn't really matter. Tinkerer. They made it activate once per generator. That makes sense to me. And, you know, with the base time to finish a generator being 90 seconds now, it's still fine. NOED. This is going to be the hot button one. This perk makes for a very effective comeback tool, though it falls out of favor in high skill games. We like the way that NOED encourages survivors to preemptively cleanse totems, so we are not looking to weaken its direct effect. Instead, survivors will now see the Hex Totem's aura within 4 meters upon activation. This range increases to 24 meters over the course of 30 seconds. We believe that this change will keep NOED a strong choice for endgame builds, while encouraging survivors to find the totem and attempt that last second save. I dig it. I can understand why people might be mad about it, but NOED is so fucking divisive that I'm not even going to try to pretend that I have a horse in this race. Pain Resonance. I've actually never used Pain Resonance, so this is going to be new for me. Current effect. Upon hooking a survivor on a Scourge hook, the generator with the most progress explodes, notifying the killer, and instantly loses a large chunk of progress. The most recent addition to the meta, Pain Resonance, allows the killer to remove a sizable chunk from the most progressed generator simply by hooking a survivor. A loud noise notification allows the killer to disrupt survivors before they can continue repairing. A jack-of-all-trades of sorts, granting both a regression effect and information. With that in mind, we are removing the loud noise notification instead of exploding. The affected generator will now spark upon losing progress, and survivors will no longer scream. We believe that this will ensure Pain Resonance remains a strong regression perk while limiting its informational aspect. Deadheart! We've been waiting for it. We've been knowing that it's going to happen for a while. Deadheart is by far the most used perk by survivors, and it's easy to see why. In the right hands, it acts like a third health state, allowing a survivor to escape a situation they would otherwise go down in. So for everybody who's been saying for a long time that Deadheart is not a second chance perk, the devs just called it a second chance perk. There are 2 main ways that Deadheart is used: to dodge a hit, and for distance, to get a nearby pallet window. In the latter case, there's not much a killer can do. Therefore, Deadheart will now provide the endurance effect for 1 second when activated. If you time it right, you'll prevent the hit and you'll gain a movement speed boost. This will remove Deadhearting for distance and make it solely used to dodge hits, which killer can anticipate and even bait accordingly. I can dig it. I mean, I don't have a problem with that at all. Moving on. Decisive Strike. One of the DS's main appeals is the efficacy it has against preventing tunneling. In light of the upcoming base game changes, we expect Decisive Strike to drop in usage slightly. For the most part, we find the perk to be healthy for the game and easily avoidable for killers who choose not to tunnel an unhooked survivor. That said, at the end of a match, there's often nothing a killer can do to prevent a survivor with Decisive Strike from escaping. Moving forward, DS will now deactivate once the exit gates are powered. 5 gens are done, no more DS. In addition, the stun duration has been reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. We'll also be simplifying the description of the perk. Decisive Strike will now be cancelled by conspicuous actions. So all the same shit, done. Borrowed Time. Much like Decisive Strike, this perk gets much of its popularity for granting counterplay against a camping killer. Considering that a lighter version of Borrowed Time is now being base kit, we need to update the perk accordingly. This will now extend the endurance effect by 6, 8, or 10 seconds, depending on what tier it's at. I don't have a problem with that. Iron Will. They're taking Iron Will down from a 100% grunt reduction to a 75% at max. That's fine. And it also isn't going to work if you're exhausted, but the perk itself isn't going to cause exhaustion. Self-Care. They are reducing Self-Care's heal speed to 25, 30, 35%. And they are removing the medkit bonus entirely. That's fine. I think that Self-Care... I'm amazed that Self-Care is one of the top used perks, frankly. Spine Chill, they really only have changed a couple little things. Spine Chill is going to activate only if the killer has a direct line of sight on you, and they got rid of the vault speed boost. And I didn't really use it for the vault speed boost to begin with, but I'm sorry for everybody who did. Non-meta perk changes. Here's where things get really interesting and kind of niche, because a lot of these are perks that I don't see being used, and they're doing this to try to get more use out of them. Overcharge, along with its current effects, Overcharge will cause a kick generator's regression speed to grow from 100% to 400% over the course of 30 seconds. Survivors will want to stop this generator from regressing as soon as possible. That's really cool. Eruption. Eruption released with fairly safe numbers, but upon reflection we're comfortable with increasing them. We have upped the generator regression penalty to 10% and the duration of the incapacitated effect to 15, 20, and 25 seconds. That's cool. I didn't see too many people using it other than Nemesis players who were just going through the blood web. Cool. Knockout, they're making it so survivors that are taken out with it crawl slower for 15 seconds and reduces the recovery speed by 25. That'll just, I'm down to see more Knockout. Chorophobia will now increase the speed of skill checks by 50% on top of its current effect. That's fucking cool. Dark Devotion, this is the one I'm really excited about. Dark Devotion lets you transfer your terror radius to the Obsession, but the deal with Dark Devotion is that it had to be with your basic, with your M1. Now, it's going to activate anytime the Obsession loses a health state, which means that if you're a Huntress player, you can transfer your terror radius with Dark Devotion using Hatchet Throws. You can transfer your terror radius with the Hook Gun if you're playing with Deathslinger. You can do it with your Corrupt Purge if you're playing Plague. This opens up a whole new realm of gameplay and terror radius manipulation, which is always something I've been big on. Jolt. Jolt allows the killer to regress generators by downing a survivor to make it more consistent and punish careless survivor plays. We've removed the cooldown. Oh, that's awesome. I really like that. Lethal Pursuer. Yeah, this is back to me saying that they're definitely trying to push aura reading perks for killers. On top of the existing effect, Lethal Pursuer will now extend the duration of all other aura reading effects by 2 seconds. So you could stack Lethal Pursuer and Barbecue together, and you can get an extra 2 seconds out of Barbecue. That's nasty. Gift of Pain. They're increasing the action speed penalty to 10, 13, 16%. That's fine. Thanatophobia, another quick one. We're increasing the action speed penalty to 4.5%, 4.5, 5, and 5.5 per survivor for a maximum of 18, 20, to 22% of generator slowdown for injured survivors. I like that. I like Thana. I always groan when I encounter it as a survivor, and I enjoy using it as a killer. Makes sense to me. Love it. Monstrous Shrine. This is a big one, because this perk isn't... I don't think this perk has ever been touched. Long have we waited. Monstrous Shrine has received a rework. This perk will now convert all basement hooks to Scourge hooks. Oh, fuck! Additionally, Scourge hooks will now grant 10, 15, and 20% faster entity progression, but only if the killer is not within 24 meters. So this perk is good, only if you don't camp the basement. They're actually doing things to de-incentivize camping. I like that. Here's all the survivor perk buffs. Calm Spirit, interesting. In addition to Calm Spirit's current effects, you can now open chests and cleanse and bless totems silently, albeit at a reduced speed, 40, 35, 30%. Saboteur. Saboteurs can now identify Scourge hooks. Their auras are shown in yellow when a survivor is being carried. With this information to your advantage, use this information to your advantage to prevent Scourge hook perks from being activated. Botany Knowledge now increases your healing speed efficiency. So they took it away from self-care, but they added on faster with Botany Knowledge. I like that. Off the Record. I love this arena perks are getting look over. Upon being unhooked, gain endurance status effect for 60, 70, 80 seconds. That's a long time. The endurance effect is lost upon performing a conspicuous action. While this is a lengthy endurance effect, any game progression action will cancel it, making it purely for evading the killer after being unhooked. That's fucking powerful. Lucky Break. This perk is great for escaping a chase, but the effect quickly runs out. We're giving survivors a way to recharge Lucky Break. Every second spent healing another survivor increases Lucky Break's duration by 1 second. The total time cannot exceed the starting duration. I like that. Pharmacy used to guarantee an emergency med kit the first time you searched a chest, which you would either hope that nobody takes from you before you need it, or you hide off in a far corner like a medkit goblin. Now, Pharmacy will activate whenever you're injured, guaranteeing an emergency medkit when you search for a chest. This effect can happen multiple times in one trial. Soul Survivor. In addition to hiding your aura, Soul Survivor will now increase your generator repair speed by 75%, and your exit gate and hatch search action speed by 50%. These effects are only active when you are the last survivor standing. Interesting changes there, but, you know, I'll take it. I'm anxious to see how that turns out. Distortion, for those who like to stay hidden. We've added a way to regain distortion tokens. Gain 1 token for every 30 seconds spent in the killer's terror radius. So they're incentivizing killer-survivor interaction again. I like that, because distortion, the gripe that everybody had with it, is that it's a cool perk, but you only get so many tokens, and those burn out pretty fucking fast. So, if you spend time in the killer's terror radius, if you're a stealth motherfucker, you can get a lot of value out of distortion now. Lightweight. In addition to Lightweight's existing effects, your scratch marks will be more sporadic, making you harder to track. Your scratch marks will fade 4, 3, or 5 seconds sooner, up from 1, 2, or 3. Deja Vu, to help survivors power through the 3 closest generators. Deja Vu will now grant a 5% repair speed bonus to the revealed generators. That's going to be interesting, because I do like actually using Deja Vu somewhat frequently on a few of my different gen-oriented builds. No One Left Behind. Its current beyond its current effects, No One Left Behind will grant a 7% movement speed bonus to any survivors you unhook. Additionally, the perk now activates when the gates are powered rather than open. That's cool. Dark Sense. We've changed the way Dark Sense works. When a generator is powered, Dark Sense activates. The next time the killer comes within 24 meters of you, their aura is revealed for 5, 7, or 10 seconds. Dark Sense then deactivates. So it's not just activating when the gen is done. It's the next time the killer is within 24 meters of you. That's kind of an interesting change. Tenacity. In addition to the current effects, Tenacity now reduces your grunts of pain by 75% when in the dying state. Combined with the increased crawling speed, this perk will now be much more effective in crawling away from the killer. Cool. Hope. Hope is great for those who like to make late game saves, but the limited duration can cause it to expire at inconvenient times. Since this perk is only useful at the end of the match, we've removed the duration entirely. Makes sense to me, because I don't know anybody who fucking runs it. Overzealous. This perk just came out and they're changing it. In the current state, cleansing a totem grants you a repair speed bonus of 6, 7, 8%. Now that bonus doubles if you cleanse a hex totem. I like that. And finally, We're Gonna Live Forever. Much like barbecue and chili, this perk features a massive blood point bonus. We do not want blood points to dictate which perks are used, so we've removed the bonus blood points from We're Gonna Live Forever. That sucks, because that's my big blood point farming build loadout. This change will release at the same time as the progression overhaul, which is expected to cut the grind by about 75%, with matchmaking incentives providing additional avenue for blood points. Additionally, actions that previously granted a token will now activate the perk's secondary effect. While active, healing a survivor from the dying state grants them the endurance effect for 6, 8, or 10 seconds. The secondary effect of We're Gonna Live Forever then deactivates. So they're basically just they're trading off the points for longer endurance. We realize that following these changes, a new meta will surely rise. We'll be closely monitoring the performance of each updated perk to ensure that none fall too far out of line. Moving forward, we hope to make meta-shaking updates like this one more frequent part of our plans in order to keep the gameplay feeling fresh. So, my overall thoughts on this is that they've thrown a lot more endurance in, and we'll see how that pans out, because it could honestly go either way. It could be a huge pain in the ass, but only time will tell. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and please follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/TuckOfIron. Follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/TuckOfIron. And if you enjoy heavy metal content, you can follow my band Throne of Iron here on YouTube as well. Just stay tuned.